Hi everyone, my name is Abhishek Chabra and I am a student of MTech Software Engineering first year. And this is a demo for my first assignment for the subject cross-platform application development. So what we need to do in this assignment is that we need to create a cross-platform application which should technically run on Android phones as well as the iPhones, iOS. But I've made this application a little bit more configurable than that, so it actually runs on all the desktop applications too, like Linux, Mac OS, Windows, as well as it can run as a web application too. Plus, it also obviously runs on Android and iOS application. In this demo, I'll just show you that I'll show you how it runs on the Android emulator in my computer. You can download the APKs and you can even run this application on the iOS if you want using the code. But for the demo purposes, I'm just using an Android emulator as you can see on the screen. Uh, so on the left hand side, you'll see the project itself, which I have already pasted the code for in the Word document. And on the right hand side, you obviously see an emulator, which is like a software phone. Let's just go ahead and deploy this application to this phone so that we can see that what this application can do. The context behind this assignment is that we need to create an application which basically uses it uses something to persist the data, and we're not using file storages, we're not using blob storages, we have to use a database. So we are using SQLite database, and I'll show you the DB too, where we are persisting the data. And I have made this application a little bit more useful than a normal application, right? So what you can actually do is that you can add the person, you can add the account of that person, and you can manage all those accounts. You can add the transactions and all of that stuff. Let's just dig into the demo. Let's just deploy this. So as you can see that it is running that Gradle build, and it opens the application for us plus a widget inspector. This is just a part of the Visual Studio Code. I have mentioned all the functionalities of the application. So because the bank or the accounts data is a little bit sensitive data, and hence I have added an authentication in the application so that just an admin can use it, or whoever just knows the password can use it and no one else can. So I'll just pretty quickly add in my password and just log into the application. You'll see that the application got opened and it shows me one person name, which is my name, and my phone number. This is just something I was testing, so you can avoid that. Let's just add another member to this application, right? So if I'll click on add, it will ask you to add a minion. By minion, it means a person, right? So let's just say that I add like John, and I have added his phone number 2323232323. Let's just say done, and it will at that same time it will show you John mentioned on the screen. Now we have added a person which just shows on our screen and it's entered into the database. We have a minion table where we entered this data, and it will be persisted the next time we open the application. So when we click on John, it says no Kevins found yet, and by Kevins I mean accounts, right? So it's just a funny nomenclature I have given to make this application a little bit more accessible. It is asking us to add an account, and as you can see that none of the data is being migrated between any of these accounts, right? And it will show you which account you have opened in the nav bar. So because we have just created John, we need to add an account for this member. So let's just add 3456 as an account number, and as the account bank name, let's just add State Bank of India, right? Click on done, and it will add a bank for you then. You can obviously add multiple bank accounts. Let's just say I'm adding 6789, and this bank should be let's say, oh sorry, my bad. This bank should be ICICI. Let's just say done. So it has added two accounts, and whatever account you click on, it will show you on the nav bar that which account you have selected, like John State Bank of India or John ICICI. Now let's just open any of the account and actually see that how the CRUD operations can work. Right now you have only seen the two of the CRUD operations. One is insert and one is get the data, right? So as soon as we have added the account, now you can add a transaction where you can do all sort of CRUD operations. So if I click on add, it will ask you what is the amount of the, like you can add a transaction, and by sol I mean transaction. So you can add a transaction, like let's suppose I have added 7,000 rupees and it was credited to my account, let's say on 11th May, and like at 8:18 p.m. let's say. Okay, let's click on done, and it'll start showing the balance as soon as you add one transaction at the in any of the accounts of John, right? If you will go to ICICI, it will still show blank, no transactions for this account yet. And if you'll click on State Bank, it will show you a transaction, right? Now let's just add a couple more transactions. Let's suppose 8,000, it was debited this time, and now you can just, let's say I have said that on 20th May I've added. Let's just click on dev, and it is sorted by the time, right? So it makes it easier for the user to track that what was the latest transaction. It'll show you the balance that if 7,000 was credited and 8,000 was debited, the balance is right now minus 1,000 obviously. Let's just add another 10,000 rupees to be credited because I don't really like that minus sign here. Okay, let's say that on 22 money was credited, so now we have 9,000 rupees in the balance, right? Now you have still seen the two of the CRUD operations yet. Now let's do update. So if you will swipe left to right on any of the transactions, as I'll do right now, you will see that there will be a pop-up of account update transaction, right? So you can actually update this transaction, like let's suppose, oh, I forgot, like it was 12,000 rupees which was credited and on the same day, so I'll click on done, and now it will show you that 12,000 rupees was credited on 18th of May, right? And it'll update the balance for you. And let's say if you have added transaction by mistake, you can swipe right to left and it'll delete the transaction for you with a pop-up, like if you want to delete the transaction, right? So let's suppose if on 11th May we have added this transaction by mistake, you can just go right to left and it'll ask you, do you want to delete the transaction? You say done, it will be deleted and the balance will be updated. So yeah, that shows that it is doing all the CRUD operations: create, update, delete, and select. You can play around with it, and it is persisting all of that data. You can delete the transactions, update the transactions, right? Whatever you want. Yeah, that's it. And just so that you know that I can show that this app is persisting the data, let's just deploy this one more time, and let's see if it is actually the same. When we get the data, right? So that it actually shows that we're using an SQLite database which is actually persisting the data. So I'm just running this once again. As we run this once again, it will ask for the authentication again, and if you'll add the authentication, it should still show you the two persons we have added, John, and I have added State Bank of India and ICICI. In ICICI, I haven't added any transaction. In State Bank of India, I added one transaction because two of them were deleted. You can add another transaction, obviously. You can pick up where you left off simply by doing this, and you can delete or update the transactions. Let's just balance this out, like if 10,000 was credited, let's say 10,000 was debited, and the balance is 0, and you can actually delete the transaction now, and you can update the transaction as you say. Yeah, that's been my time, and I hope you like my application. Thank you so much.